and welcome back to the Film Reelcast. Here's another podcast for you, a podcast this time from our vault that we recorded in 2015. And it's about 2007 coin-op documentary, The King of Kong, A Fistful of Quarters. Now, if you like old school computer games, if you love the arcade, playing like Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, then you're going to love this podcast. It's something that we did and it absolutely blew us away. It involves Billy Mitchell, Steve Wiebe, trying to break the world record for Donkey Kong. And if you've ever played Donkey Kong, you'll realise just how hard it is. And these guys were racking up the millions. And it's about Twin Galaxies, the corruption of Twin Galaxies, who works out the scores, who says who's in charge, and who's on the board for Twin Galaxies. If you watch this, you'll be blown away just by the pure corruption. But these two guys are real characters. They're really opposite ends of the spectrum. Billy Mitchell is just a show-off, an arrogant guy. Or is he painted in this documentary to be like that? You make your own mind up. Steve Wiebe cracked this world record from his garage at home. And it's also about what happened to him when he broke that record. You'll be honestly blown away by this. But watch the documentary, then listen to this audio podcast review. It's myself and James back in 2015. It's still something that I enjoy listening to, and it's a documentary I still enjoy watching. It's also available on our App Store with the podcasts, on iTunes and on Android as well. There's so many other different reviews. Click on that. Click on our Twitter page at the Film Reelcast, on Instagram at the Film Reelcast, and on Facebook as well. Leave your comments. Go onto iTunes, leave 5 stars, leave comments, and help us grow. Okay, that's enough of me going on, and on with the podcast.
Ready? Go! I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs. I play video games.
It's the constant drive to be the best at something.
When you want your name written into history, you have to pay the price.
The fact of the matter is, Bill is the best classic arcade gamer of our era.
I've probably seen Steve with tears in his eyes more than any other guy I know.
Oh, he's just come up short in a lot of things in his life, and I just think nobody wants to do that all the time.
Well, Donkey Kong, without question, is the hardest game.
That's a tough machine. People think that the machine is possessed.
The average Donkey Kong game doesn't last a minute. It's absolute brutality.
The mysterious player from the West Coast, Steve Wiebe, is here.
He could beat it if he'd have to have a really good game.
You want to put a score up, you're competing against everybody in the world.
It's not even about Donkey Kong anymore.
He's a very devious person. He works things out to his ends very well.
Well, Billy Mitchell always has a plan. World Record Headquarters can I help you.
Well, maybe they'd like it if I lose. I gotta try losing sometime.
No matter what I say, it draws controversy. It's sort of like the abortion issue.
And welcome back to the Film Reelcast. Boy, do we have a film for you. A first of anything. A first documentary. A first time we're going to go pure geekdom in the world of the Kong of donkeys, otherwise known as Donkey Kong. The King of Kong in this case. A fistful of quarters.
Yes.
Stu.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, this was a film that you'd mentioned quite a while back, wasn't it, when we were looking at one of the films to do.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I watched it and I found it compelling. I really did. I watched it twice, or 2.5 times. I enjoyed it that much. So,
2.5.
Each time you watch it, you pick something different up, don't you?
I know, and at the time, to like the casual viewer, starring absolutely no one famous by a relatively unknown director at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's about computer games. I mean, I play computer games a lot. We play them online together, and
we do.
You beat me numerous times. I mean, what's your early memories of kind of the computer systems?
Probably like my friend's first Nintendo, or going to the arcades in the 80s down the beach and stuff.
Yeah.
For example, things like Donkey Kong being there, things like Spy Hunter, and later on, obviously, your Street Fighter and stuff down the arcades. I mean, what about yourself?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same. Like with the coin ops, the Donkey Kong and Starfighter, obviously Space Invaders.
Were you the last Starfighter though?
I was last in the list of winners.
Okay.
That's about it. But yeah, then I had the pocket games like the Nintendo Pocket Donkey Kong, you know, the folding kind of games consoles.
Yes.
Small ones that took those flat batteries. I mean, I had those. And I can honestly say, Defender as well, which I really enjoyed, that I was never good at Donkey Kong.
No,
it was a really, really hard game to play.
I might get past the first screen, and then that'll be it. I never got a kill screen.
No, I will never ever.
I never knew what the bloody hell a kill screen was.
No.
Until someone called Brian Kurt introduced it to me several times. Too many times, actually, if I remember, if any of you've seen the film.
Yeah.
But yeah, the film came out in 2007, The King of Kong, Fistful of Quarters. It's basically about who can be the best at Donkey Kong. And two people, not starring, but two people, because it is a documentary. Steve Wiebe, the challenger, and the reigning champion, obviously, a Billy Mitchell. Interestingly, the film was initially the film's original title was simply The King of Kong. It was later received the subtitle of Fistful of Quarters. A scripted film adaptation is also in the works, apparently, which I didn't know.
Really?
Yeah, it's been rumoured. It's been rumoured for some time. Director Seth Gordon has said that a movie might be a sequel instead of a remake, telling the story of how the documentary changed both men's lives, as well as their continuing rivalry. The film's DVD release was on January the 29th, 2008. And interestingly, the Seth Gordon and I think his colleague, Ed Cunningham, they shot more than 300 hours of the film to make the documentary. I had no idea of that until obviously...
No.
Yeah. The film was dedicated to the memory of Doris Self, who appeared in the film, but died before its release, unfortunately.
She the one with a Q-Bert?
I believe, previous holder of the Q-Bert record and title of oldest game champion.
See, again, Q-Bert was someone who I'd never come across until I saw Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah, no, I knew who Q-Bert was.
Yeah, I didn't know who Q-Bert was. And it was only when I saw Wreck-It Ralph, and then I saw this, I thought, that's who Q-Bert is.
Oh, there you go. Now you know.
Exactly.
So see, educational for all. I mean, interestingly, the film was initially meant to be meant to have a look at the life and times of people that go for records on these old style coin-ups.
Yeah.
Hence, I think the 300 hours. So there's a lot more footage actually shot.
Yeah.
But I think with all documentaries, I think you need a story for it to be, to be gripping, entertaining, and to appeal to the mass audience. And obviously, the story of Steve Wiebe and Billy Mitchell, they couldn't really ignore. And it made ultimately, I think, for an absolutely fantastic documentary.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the structure of the documentary was really, really good. And it was done in a way that it was so compelling and addictive to watch because it was so interesting. I mean, I understand now that from speaking to you, who's done a bit of more research in it, that they could have had a few more facts in there.
Absolutely.
But it would have lessened the tension.
Yeah, and absolutely. I mean, that's something we'll go into a bit as well. I mean, this is the first time we've reviewed a documentary, so I've got no idea where we'll end up on this journey, Stu. Obviously, Graham's off. He felt that it was too nerdy looking at a documentary for
Graham's too
for computer
cool,
games. No, yeah, exactly.
So I wouldn't expect Graham to do anything that's nerdy because even when we went to Comic-Con, he felt threatened in the environment of being with so many geeks nerds. And he kept having to prove himself that he wasn't a nerd.
No, I completely agree.
Which is much for our amusement.
I know, and he's the only person that can pull off wearing sunglasses in December indoors. He's that cool. Anyway, in Iowa, Walter Day, it begins, obviously founded this Twin Galaxies. Now, Twin Galaxies was a coin-up and arcade place, and unfortunately it obviously folded in the big crash. I think 1986, I think it obviously went under. But initially, they even appeared on TV, and the Twin Galaxies, there was this idea of, we tour basically America looking for champions, and having these events. An organisation formed to keep track, as it says here, of high scores achieved in arcade games. Billy Mitchell, having achieved the highest ever score on Donkey Kong Centipede in the 1980s, he remains a video game legend to this day, one way or another. And Twin Galaxies is now become like this massive global organisation. Mitchell, in obviously this film, is portrayed as unabashedly cocky, and he's very fond of self-promotion, proclaiming himself the Sauce King of Florida for a successful line of homemade hot sauces. That's basically come from his family's restaurant. He's basically used his family's restaurant down, I think it was Orlando, Florida, but down in Florida, and basically you use that to obviously do his hot sauce. Fair play to him.
Yeah.
And next to his family, Mitchell considers his arcade scores to be his greatest life achievements.
It wasn't only Donkey Kong.
It was. He had a number of. Centipede. He had a number of records. I think possibly Donkey Kong Jr. as well.
Donkey Kong Jr. and Centipede in the charts that he held all of those at the same time. That's what Steve Wiebe broke every single one, didn't he?
He did break Centipede. I think he was. The documentary does mention he did beat the Donkey Kong. His mate mentions, Steve Wiebe's friend mentions he broke the Donkey Kong champion. But interestingly, you've got. I forgot where I was going to go now. Yeah, one of Billy Mitchell's friends. I'm trying to think. I think possibly Todd Rogers. He's the man, Mr. Awesome.
Oh yes.
No, not Mr. Awesome. No, not Mr. Awesome. Todd Rogers. I think he's the man that put a bogus score out there and made everyone believe that he was really the Donkey Kong champion at first.
Yeah, it was when they had the photograph for Time magazine.
Yeah, that's it.
With the kind of the best gamers.
Yeah, and he submitted a false score, and then Billy Mitchell they played live against each other.
Yeah.
And fair play to Billy, he completely destroyed him. But I mean, that's basically Billy Mitchell's character. Cocky, very, very fond of self-promotion, likes his little sayings. For example, what is it? I never forget one thing that really epitomises him in the documentary. He sits there, says, "Look at me. What 3 initials do you think?" He says, "Look at me. What 3 initials do you think I use?" Like B, Billy, B, M. I don't know. And he goes, "USA."
Yeah.
And you think, "Dick, I'm sorry."
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's going to be a lot more hate for this guy as his documentary goes on.
Yeah.
Now, on the other side of the country, in Redmond, Washington...
Sorry, he also speaks about the Red Baron as well, doesn't he?
The Red Baron... Oh, yeah, he goes... Oh. Yeah, yes, he can... He speaks about the Red Baron and loosely compares himself to the Red Baron. He said in World War II, a lot of pilots, the best one being the Red Baron because he shot down the most people.
Yeah.
Yeah? So no one remembers the second guy. He does. He mentions it, who it is.
Yeah.
And he kind of compares himself to the Red Baron.
Yeah.
And obviously, if none of you have seen it, which is a shame, stop and watch it now. But he kind of wears these USA ties, shirt, and I can't really explain his haircut. He looks like a Bond villain from the late 70s, early 80s almost.
Yeah,
like a yuppie type.
Because when I saw him, I could imagine the person to play his character would be Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
Because he'd do it in such a dry sense of humour. And he looks like a joke, doesn't he?
He does.
With his American scarf, he's got his mullet, and he's grooming himself, isn't he?
Yes.
And it's just so funny. It looks like a character who is a joke, who's doing it to take the piss out of himself.
He does, doesn't he? He does. Yeah. I can't explain it. Now, on the other side of the country, employee Steve Wiebe has been laid off as a Boeing engineer, and he spends his time as a science teacher. Lovely profession.
Yeah.
His friends and his wife Nicole describe him as an unfortunate figure who seems to always come up short.
Yeah.
He does have OCD, and he's been known as being very good at music, sports, art, mathematics. He was a star baseball pitcher, but was injured and unable to pitch in the state championship. And they kind of make out that his one big failure that might have cost him.
Yeah.
And he was like the nearly man, the man that never could quite get it. And he's also a gifted drummer, but he doesn't really care to perform. Now, obviously, he's preparing to get back into the workforce. Wiebe begins going to night school to get a master's degree. And during that, he obtains a Donkey Kong machine to play in his garage as a pastime. And after reading Billy Mitchell's record of 874,300 on the internet, he focuses on mastering Donkey Kong. And he, ultimately, I mean, the video they show of him...
Yeah.
He beats his score. He's the first one to break a million, 1,006,000. And his poor wife. I mean, what would your wife think if you came home, Mr. Stewart? What would she think if you came with a Donkey Kong machine saying, "Look, I'm going to try and beat the record"? How'd that go in the Stewart household?
Well, it's interesting because when they play these games,
Yeah.
I mean, on the PS4, I love playing Hardline.
Battlefield Hardline, yeah. Before that, it was Titanfall on the Xbox.
Yeah, before that, it was Titanfall, yeah. And it was Call of Duty, etc. But if I play a game, it's a team deathmatch will last, if you play 2, say 20 minutes, something like that. When they play a game, it lasts 2.5 hours for one game.
Yeah.
Because they are that good. So there's no way, I just want to play one quick game. And you've got to wait there. And it's an obsession. And Steve Wiebe's parents said that we think he's kind of got OCD or he's kind of autistic possibly because
slightly, yeah.
Everything he does, he throws everything into it and he's obsessed with being perfect at it.
Yes.
So that's kind of the character he's like. But I don't know whether it's the way these things are edited. I don't know if it's so much in this way because all of Billy Mitchell's friends do seem absolute arseholes.
Including the referee, really, up until the end. Yeah, it's had Todd Rogers. You're absolutely right. I mean, and going back to, as you mentioned, Steve Wiebe's OCD, you kind of almost have that whole A Beautiful Mind equation montage when he's drawing on the screen the way the barrels go, obviously with Donkey Kong, which I thought was quite interesting. And Wiebe submits this tape to Twin Galaxies. What do you think of the tape? He's scoring, he nearly gets 1 million, and then wipe my butt is the son. He's going, Dad, no, get off the Donkey Kong machine.
But isn't he good? I know
that distraction, that is fantastic.
But that distraction, yeah. And he's like, well, I'm going to break the world record. And he's like, no. And he just carries on. And it is perfect. There's continuity throughout the whole thing. And he breaks it and he gets the 1 million, doesn't he?
He does. Finishes it. Yeah. Gets the kill screen, which would excite Brian Kerr if he was there.
And I was so pleased for that.
I was, and he submits a tape, propels him to becoming a local celebrity for the next few weeks as the new record holder. Now, it starts to get controversial now, doesn't it? After that, it's quite friendly. Because even Billy Mitchell, he's kind of like arrogant, but they don't really... I feel at that point the film doesn't portray him negatively. He is confident, he is cocky, and it's very much you make up your own mind up until this point about Billy Mitchell as well. The way they've introduced the two protagonists almost.
And they've done it in the right kind of time frame where they haven't shown Billy Mitchell to be an arsehole or his little legion of followers.
Absolutely.
And it's only, as you say, when he breaks that record that everything changes, doesn't it? And the dynamics change completely.
Now, Mitchell sends his self-styled protege, retired banker turned pro gamer. I think Brian Kerr. Now, bearing in mind later on that Steve Wiebe completely destroys him. Pro gamer is completely debatable, really. I think.
Yeah.
But anyway,
but he describes himself
as Billy Mitchell's protege.
Yeah, and that he thought he was going to be the first one to get the kill screen.
Yeah,
and he really believed he was.
To the point where he almost damages his car.
Yeah. And that's really comical, isn't it? It's like a sketch from The Office. Yeah. And you see him slam the bonnet, the boot of his car.
Dwight.
Dwight. It is a Dwight moment. Yeah. And it's so funny. And
if this was a film, that's exactly who'd play him as well.
Yeah,
I think
that's it. And he has a go, and he turns around and goes, "Yeah, I only got. I mean, 300,000 is very good." But he'll say, "Yeah, I only got 300,000. It's like a phantom barrel. You can't really odds that." And he makes excuses up, but he's like the Padawan to.
Not a very good one, though.
Yeah, to everyone else. Self-proclaimed. That's all he is. I'm a self-proclaimed champion. Anyone can be that. You don't agree, but he's a knob.
I completely concur. And they investigate Wiebe's machine. Now, Kerr finds us. Now, before we actually get into the actual machine, they go around to the house. The wife's like, "No, you're not coming into my garage." And they pretty much enter the garage anyway and start. Yeah. And if the documentary is to be believed, they start damaging, taking things from the machine and stuff, and taking pictures.
Yeah, it's because...
Now,
but
surely in England, that's almost burglary.
Yeah, and it's because... and it is nonsense, because the adjudicator on the Twin Galaxies is Billy Mitchell, isn't it?
He's one of the adjudicators.
Yeah.
How can that happen?
Yeah, which makes a laughing stock of... is it Brian Day?
Walter
Day, sorry.
Yeah.
Walter Day trying to be... like the referee and saying it's straight down the line and we're independent, and then it's not. That they go through his machine and they take the circuit boards apart and they're taking pictures of the different circuit boards, and that's when they find
there's a slight difference.
Well, I think they only find a slight difference, or there isn't really a slight difference, is there? They find the box, don't they? From, is it Schmidt?
No. Yeah. They find a box from Roy Schultz, a self-styled guru and pickup artist who claims to hold the high score for Missile Command. Now, he's Mr. Awesome, isn't he? You've seen a few of his videos. No man has ever got a woman for being nice. Well, pretty much that's a nice.
Yeah, and he said, if you want to get hold of some poo-tang,
you poot.
Yeah. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah, we're going back to Porky's era here. Brilliant.
He's he's a trope of himself.
Isn't he? He just wanted to be famous for a day as well. He never got the recognition. He was jealous.
Yeah, and he admits that, doesn't he?
He does admit that, and I'm sure, with no doubt, the way the documentary goes, he does not like Billy Mitchell, and he would like to. I'm sure he would like to see Billy Mitchell embarrassed. Yeah. But I really don't think that machine was bugged or wrong or anything like that.
I don't think so. I think that the picture portrayed of Steve Wiebe is one of. He is a family man. He's dedicated to his family.
Unless he's going for the unless he's going for the record.
Yeah, yes, he's going for the record. But he doesn't come across as the person who will break the rules, because he will go to play live in front of people on different machines. It's not like he
still does that. You can YouTube it. Yeah.
And he's
Comic-Con 2013. He got a kill screen.
Yeah. So he's that kind of person. So I just think it's adjudicated by Billy Mitchell, the person whose record's been broken, and for some reason everyone licks this geezer's arse, don't they?
I know, absolutely. I mean, unbeknownst to Wiebe, Schultz and Mitchell, as we're talking about, have been nemesis for years, since Mitchell caused Schultz's high score to be brought down under scrutiny, preventing him from receiving official recognition from Twin Galaxies. And since then, Schultz has been looking for a way to exact clandestine revenge, it's got here, thanks to Wikipedia, on obviously Mitchell. Now, based on Wiebe's association with Schultz, the staff of Twin Galaxies suspect that Wiebe's board might have been tampered with and that he may have achieved his score dishonestly.
Who's the guy with the glasses and the curly hair? He's kind of the...
Oh, I forgot now. He's not Brian Kerr. He's the other guy, and I forgot his name.
He's the one who's like the understudy to Walter Day, isn't he?
Walter Day... Robert Murzek, I think. Yeah. He's the chief referee.
Yeah. What did you think of him? I didn't think he was planning it down the line. I thought again he was one of the followers.
I think he was. Yeah.
Do you think he was planning it down the line?
No.
You thought he was a follower of Billy Mitchell?
Yeah, because he even said, Roy Schultz would love nothing more than to take down Billy Mitchell and to discredit Twin Galaxies, etc. But I don't think. Yeah, I mean, as you said, they found this box, and you kind of feel that why were they there to begin with? Number one, after doing that, and it's the way they did it. Yeah. It's not knocking the door. Oh, do you mind if we can have a look at? Because let's be honest, Steve Wiebe, if he was there, and I'm sure if they knocked on the door, if he had a free hour, I'm pretty sure he's the type of bloke that would have gone, yeah, sure, go ahead.
Yeah. What powers have they got? They've got entry.
I know.
They've got no powers of entry. They're not.
No, they don't.
Or the
I know. In England, you need a thing called a warrant or something to enter someone's house potentially.
Yeah. Who are you? Oh, Twin Galaxies. Go on then.
Right, go on then. Yeah. We're just taking your PlayStation 4.
Yeah. There's no point arguing.
Yeah. There's no way you got 30 headshots in that last game of Battlefield. Yeah? Look, there's a dodgy board here somewhere.
I'd agree to that.
I think there's a turbo button in your controller. I don't know, but it's pretty bad when you think about it.
Yeah, and they were governed, and the person, once they kind of got their evidence, they gathered it.
But I think they already made their mind up.
Yeah, but they would report back to Billy Mitchell, which is a joke.
But it got worse, this whole reporting back to Billy got worse throughout the documentary. I was getting angry. It was pathetic. Now, so based on Wiebe's association with Shield, the staff of Twin Galaxies suspect that Wiebe's board might have been tampered with, and then he may have been achieved his score dishonestly, and as a result, his score gets taken off,
which destroyed him because he was on the news. It was kind of a town celebrity, wasn't he?
Do you think? Part of it makes me wonder that also, if it wasn't made such a big deal on the news, whether they would have done it as well. It's high profile. I don't know. I'm assuming they probably would have done.
I think they would have done. I think they would have done anything so Steve Wiebe couldn't have had that score of over 1 million. Because bearing in mind, he would have been the first person to clock over 1 million, wasn't he? So he wanted to discredit him in any way possible, and Billy Mitchell didn't really need to do that because he had so many henchmen.
Yeah.
Who was going to do it for him? He was in ultimate control. I mean, most of the shots, it wasn't him leaving his house. It was people doing stuff for him, which was ridiculous.
Sad.
And it just made a whole sham of Twin Galaxies, really.
Yeah, you're right, actually, for especially considering later on, and even before, I think you mentioned when the documentary started, that they did have an affiliation with, for example, the Guinness Book of Records.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in order to prove his gaming skills, Wiebe travelled to Funspot Arcade in New Hampshire to perform a high score live for Twin Galaxies, found a Walter Day and other high-ranking members of Twin Galaxies.
And Funspot is the kind of mecca for...
Yeah. It's got all these old machines.
Yeah. What did you think of the people they interviewed there, like the start of the film and throughout the film? They interviewed a lot of kind of gamers. A lot of them, like myself, but a lot of them were cliche. You could tell they're geeks, nerds, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, and I'm not trying to be. I am stereotyping, but if you think of a stereotype, if I said to you, there's a guy that is obsessed with coin-ups, and he's about mid-30s to early 40s year old. That a lot of them are probably the image you'd conjure up in your head. I know that's not very nice. Yeah, but it's true. But I loved it. When they said, I don't drink, I don't take drugs, I'm just addicted to gaming. That's brilliant. I love that line. Yeah, I thought that was brilliant. But they were kind of very passionate about what they did, and they were very harmless people, and I'd hate to think how much they spent down at the Funspot. Oh, it must be loads. They must have just caned it in. They really must have done. There's so many games there, but they were all... It's a place where you can go to play all old school retro coin-op games, which I really, really liked, and... If you want to break a record, that's where you go to do it, isn't it? I think that's brilliant. Yeah, I love it. I'd love somewhere like that here. Yeah, I mean the closest we got, we used to have the Trocadero down in London, but I think that's about it. Yeah, and there's, it's not as big as it used to be. But no, it's kind of the more modern, the better game. Yes, yeah, and you've got all these silly especially down at the beach now. You don't really have coin-ups anymore. You've got this whole get a token for, it's almost like gambling for kids, really, isn't it? Like get all these balls in the hole, smash all these things on the head. Yeah, tokens. I'm trying to... Well, there's nothing I said there that can be taken another way. I said smash the balls in the hole and the things on the head. There's nothing that can be taken out of context. I know, I'm just really immature. Well, I don't know. I'm glad Josh and Graham aren't here. That could have gone a different way. Okay, so... Our mate Wiebe, he's there, hoping to confront Mitchell and play head-to-head. Mitchell does not attend, which is a massive exclamation mark. He sends Kerr to observe Wiebe's play. Bear in mind, it is only something like 20 minutes from his home address, isn't it? I think, no, that was the last time. That was the last, towards the end of the documentary, I think. Oh, was it? Yeah. I forgot now. I don't know whether they're at Funspot right at the end or whether it's somewhere else. I'll have to check that. But yeah, at one point it is only about 10 minutes. Yeah. Or 10 miles or something like that. Yeah. Considering the fact that he's travelled like 300 or something stupid like that. It was 3,000 miles, wasn't it? No, that's ridiculous, isn't it? Yeah. So he sends Brian Kerr just prior to the kill screen. Kerr is seen gathering a large crowd to witness Wiebe's achievement, and Wiebe reached the kill screen and also achieved the new world record of 985. But before he did that, that's right. He was floating around, and that's when he kind of was a self-proclaimed prodigy of Billy Mitchell. And he walked along, and he said, this is Steve Wiebe, the boy from the West Coast. He's kind of the stranger out of town, kind of really trying to belittle him, really, wasn't he? And it's an earshot of Steve sitting down playing the game. And then he reports back, and I'm so pleased the cameras follow him. And as the scores progress from what Steve Wiebe's getting, he runs back and rings Mitchell. Yeah, he's now on 300,000. He's on one life still. Yeah. And then he goes back again and reports on 700,000. And you kind of think, Jesus, you're such a creep. This guy is a real creep. There are no nice qualities. Whether it's been edited like that, so you get that impression. If it is, the editor did an amazing job. Because he comes across as someone who is just a wannabe and is desperate to hang on and be in that clique of Billy Mitchell. And he keeps reporting back. And as you say, when he's going to get the kill screen, is because when you play these old style co-op games, that they basically, you've used the memory on the game, you cannot go any further, that all of the memory is used up, and the game kind of theoretically crashes, doesn't it? Yes. And your scores are recorded. So, and he says, he's going to get the kill screen. So, and that's when he says, I thought I was going to be the first one to get that. Not that he's ever stood a chance of getting anywhere near it. No. And as he walks around the arcade telling everyone... It says that at the end of the documentary, Brian still hasn't seen a kill screen or something. That's it, which is great. But it's the way he tells people. It's as if trying to psychologically put Steve Wiebe off, isn't it?
Yeah, we're going to get a kill screen here. We're going to get a kill screen here.
Yeah, what an arsehole. And he doesn't clap, does he? Everyone else claps when he gets it.
He doesn't like it. Yes, which makes you think, as you mentioned, I think earlier after we first watched it, he's doing that to try and put, obviously, Wiebe off, as you were saying. And I never really saw it that way. I just thought he's being a bit of an arse. But no, I think you're absolutely right. Yeah. Especially when he doesn't clap. No.
Yeah. He just stands there.
He just stands there looking quite upset, really.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, he achieves, obviously, 985, right? And then Mitchell immediately... Well, after doing it, Mitchell immediately sends a low-quality, they've got here, VHS to Funspot. And now, the interesting thing is they all get up in this cabin to watch it, but Wiebe's not invited. Why? Why? Because it's a clip? I don't understand. You know, and at one point, I'm sure it's been... Wiebe even asked to see the video, and they went, sorry, it's a one-time play only.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking... Fucktard, fucking idiot, pardon my language.
But that's when Twin Galaxies should have been involved. But again, the adjudicator was the person who set the record, who's with Twin Galaxies, and Twin Galaxies agreed that it was fine. And they had all of his hangers on, as you say, in the wooden cabin, and they're playing, they're all eating pizza and just... I won't even comment on what's going through my mind, I won't say that. But... and they play the video, and the video quality is so appalling, isn't it?
But, yeah, I mean, bearing in mind, right, this was in 2004, so we did have DVD. Yeah, I can only assume this video, he might have recorded it in the 90s, in the case, maybe, that someone...
He said it was a copy, and he said it was a copy of the original tape. That's why it was so bad.
But I've copied tapes before, and given the fact that, like a good old Memorex... You know, But given the fact that it's an okay quality tape we've copied from, the only thing that really distorts is the picture's maybe not as sharp, but you don't get lines like that. I mean, that's a screwed up.
And it was that line that kind of flicked up every now and then.
On the score?
On the score side. And when it flicked up, you couldn't really see the score.
No.
Because the picture creased, and then it kind of came back again. And it was mind-boggling how they allowed that to be a perfect score, and
it was absolutely,
and it made a sham. I think it was an embarrassment for Walter Day, and the whole of the Twin Galaxies. For me, at that point, stood for nothing. If they were going to adjudicate this and allow this to be the highest score, it made a sham of it, and you can see it destroyed Steve Wiebe, didn't it? And his family.
It did. It absolutely did, and it's I mean. It shows what a hypocrite Billy Mitchell is, because he repeatedly asserts that live scores are the only credible ones, and he says that like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, he references if Tiger Woods plays on his own and gets a 59 because it's not in front of an audience. Big deal.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't count. But as you say, he's never plays for an audience. They keep going back to old footage, don't they?
They do, and even his wife said. I mean, he has since played live, obviously, Billy Mitchell. But prior to this documentary, when they ask his wife, she says no. He's never played live either, which is not particularly great.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and despite Wiebe's protest that his first score was disqualified for being submitted via a unsupervised videotape, Twin Galaxies hypocritically initially accept Mitchell's score over Wiebe's and proclaims that Mitchell's new score makes him the record holder once again, which I think's and you know what annoys me the most? Yeah, he's such a cliche. When they phone him up, he says something like, home of the champions or something like that.
Yes.
Doesn't he? And you're just like, dick!
Yeah. But
you better get on the internet. I think Walter's got some work to do to put up on that high score.
Yeah, and it's interesting that he says home of the champions even before they've told him, and because they could be ringing up to say, just to let you know, because the tape's so much shitty quality, they were not going to accept it. He knows. It could be, I don't know whether, and I always wonder, even in retrospect of watching this, whether it's been, let's say, edited to make Billy Mitchell look like such an arsehole.
Okay.
Or whether he is that much of an arsehole, because he comes across...
Well, okay, this is the thing, I was going to wait for the disputed facts, right? However, I want to mention one thing. Gordon has claimed to have painted Billy Mitchell as you like this, Gordon, obviously the director, he's claimed to have painted Billy Mitchell as a more light-hearted character than his real-life persona. Concerning the movie, Gordon also claims that Billy Mitchell is so much worse than we painted him out to be.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but he chose to only include scenes that were necessary to tell the story, because the movie would have been darker had he not played with the facts.
So he is a complete
He's
arsehole.
even worse then. Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic then. I don't mind bashing him so much.
There you go. So, you yeah. I mean, I mentioned the other things. You're a bit happier now, are you?
Yeah. It's just good to know. I mean, there is no taking away that Billy Mitchell is incredibly good at computer games. He was the first person to kind of get the perfect score on Pac-Man, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So you can't take it away that Billy Mitchell is trying to be impartial, but Billy Mitchell is a natural, amazing talent at computer games, of the record he's held.
I know, and it's a case of, it always kind of reminds me of, like, for example, when Michael Schumacher came back to F1. I think Billy Mitchell, all those years over, I mean, he has lost his world record, but what does he really have to prove now? He had all those records at one point.
But he reclaimed it so many times, didn't he?
Yeah, but what does he really have to prove anymore? That's what I'm thinking. You know what I mean? I don't know why.
Well, without his
kind of
records,
feels.
he's not going to get the followers and his little entourage, is he?
But he's still the gamer. He's still this amazing. Yeah, you're probably right. And so you're right. That completely destroys Steve Wiebe, and he completely forgets about Donkey Kong for a while. Understandably, because it's like I don't know. It's almost like you're being in the Football Cup World Final, and despite not being offside and having good goals, they're disallowed.
Did you say the Football Cup World Final?
Yeah. I don't know what it is. Is it the World Cup final?
That's disappointing. We won't dwell on that. Carry on.
No, but it's like your goals aren't allowed for no reason whatsoever, for bullshit reasons.
Yeah. The other team decides whether they're allowed or not.
Yeah, Billy, it was that. You know what I mean? They phone out the manager.
Yeah.
Or something. Yeah. But he's up against a brick wall. That's what it must have felt like.
Yeah, but good kind of comes out of this kind of breakdown, because he then goes and he gets his degree in teaching, doesn't he?
He does. Becomes a teacher.
Yeah. So that's the really kind of the upbeat side of it. That again, he focuses on his teaching. He's been doing that for about a year in high school, and he's got that to focus on.
Yeah, absolutely. And he seems to be quite a good teacher. They seem to like him when they interview the people. And 9 months later, Wiebe learns that Guinness World Records wants to publish several of Twin Galaxies records, including Mitchell's latest score. Now, Wiebe and his family travelled to Hollywood, Florida, near Mitchell's home, to challenge him in a public competition. And there's even posters, isn't there?
Yeah.
Steve Wiebe versus Billy Mitchell. They're almost setting it up like a boxing match. They kind of... I forgot what Walter Day says initially.
I can't remember what he says now, but as you say, he's kind of selling like a Clash of the Titans, isn't he?
Yeah.
But it's again, I felt so sorry for Steve Wiebe on this front, because it leads to again so much kind of heartbreak, and it's piss take as well, isn't it, by Billy Mitchell? The fact that he doesn't turn up, and Steve Wiebe is so obsessed. You can see he's obsessed with playing this game and wanting to meet Billy Mitchell. That it does lead to the restaurant a few really funny scenes that do remind me of The Office, and that Brian Kerr, whatever his name is, that the scene with him is so funny.
Smashing down his...
it's when because they play at the I can't even remember what it's called now, the place where they go to, but he gets in the Guinness Book of World Records. In a way, it's quite a shame, because it's just by default that it's only him that turns up, isn't it?
Yeah. Billy Mitchell doesn't, and obviously all around this, Billy's trying to beat his score. Unfortunately, to cut the long story short, he's not successful. But they all go out to dinner. All his mates, and they're waiting for Billy. It's at Billy's restaurant.
Yeah.
And and Steve Wiebe turns up with one of his mates.
This is hilarious, isn't it?
Sit down, and then what is it? Brian Kerr or whatever is on the phone. No, it's Todd, his mate. Is on one of his freaking followers anyway.
Yeah.
Is on the phone, and he goes, Billy, yeah, he's here. He's coming uninvited to a bloody restaurant. You don't need to be invited to a restaurant. I know it's your own restaurant, but it's a bit. If the Harvester said we're only doing invites, then shut down pretty quick, wouldn't they? I mean,
he said, Steve Wiebe's turned up. He didn't turn up with me. I confirm he didn't come in here with me. As if he's going to get told off or punished for some reason. The fact he had to confirm it and repeat, he didn't come in here with me. It's purely on his own. And he came in with Walter Day, didn't he?
No, it wasn't Walter Day. It was somebody else.
It?
No. I forgot who it was. I don't think it was. It was somebody else.
It's so funny that he told him, he's in here. I didn't invite him. Just so you know, I didn't invite him, okay? To confirm that. But it's pathetic, isn't it?
And then you've got Billy's car, because it says, obviously, driving past. Driving past his own. I'm not going to go to, because I'm pretty sure it was his own restaurant, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
I'm not going to go now to my own restaurant. Get a life. Seriously, man. I mean, come on.
It's ridiculous.
I know.
I like that.
I had more respect for Ivan Drago despite killing Apollo than I did bloody Billy Mitchell come the end of this film.
But it is one up for Steve Wiebe on that one. I thought, fair play, you go into his restaurant.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because now I know somehow Steve Wiebe, I think, might have got on with Billy Mitchell a bit better than the documentary portrayed because he did have his telephone number.
Yeah.
And he did try phoning up, leaving a message. Fair play to him for that. But the fact that Billy Mitchell, he didn't turn up. I mean, Mitchell refuses to accept the challenge by not turning up, and Wiebe fails to surpass 1 million points. Nevertheless, Day, on behalf of Twin Galaxies, finally acknowledges Wiebe's integrity and credibility and apologises for how Wiebe was treated. Because I think Walter Day basically realises how bad Billy Mitchell was, and obviously Todd, his friend, they're interviewing Billy Mitchell. They're sitting down and they're talking about Steve Wiebe as a standout guy, doesn't he? His mate.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, he's a top bloke. He's kind of like, I think he realises that poor old Steve has taken all this crap.
But what do you think brings that kind of a change of mind? Do you think it's because now they're affiliated with the Guinness Book of World Records, which is known
I never
throughout
really
the
thought
world?
about that. It could be to try and save face.
Yeah, to try and save face, because everything's now being recorded, and it's kind of not, in a way, not really being adjudicated by them so much, is it? So,
no.
And I think I felt to save face, that it's either to save face, or he just realised that he had an epiphany that Billy Mitchell was actually a complete dick.
It may well be. Because he realised it's also a documentary. It may well be a bit of both. Because when they span to Billy, he goes, "I can't comment. I don't even know the guy."
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's a bit like you can't comment now. But bear in mind, we don't know when exactly this is filmed. But if it was filmed after even the first event at Funspot, right? I don't even know the guy. It's not like he didn't have a chance. You know what I mean? So you are a douchebag anyway.
I got the impression it was around like 2008 or something like that.
Well, I mean, the film came out in 2008. I think the DVD. The film was, I think, released in 2007. The film was released. Yeah.
A lot of footage is 2006, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, because you've got that one scene where obviously you've got Steve Wiebe playing, and Billy Mitchell walks past, and Steve even says, "Hello, Billy," doesn't he? Yeah. And he goes, "There's some people I don't want to talk to here." Yeah. In quite clearly the earshot.
Oh yeah.
Now, interestingly, Billy has stated no. Steve and I did talk to each other, and the director has apparently said no, they didn't talk to each other on that particular day, which is quite interesting. But
the kind of footage doesn't stop; they just show it from a distance, don't they?
Yeah. No, exactly. And obviously you've got Billy's. I think doesn't he refer to his wife as a trophy?
Yes,
as well.
And she is really a trophy. I mean, she's nothing special, but he is punching.
No. He is punching above his weight. I mean, you can tell that she may have been, for example, like the hot girl at school, maybe at one point, potentially. Yeah. Or whatever. You know.
Yeah, but he just looks a cliche of himself, doesn't he?
Yeah, but he's walking around there like he's King Muck or Lord Muck or something, isn't he?
Yeah.
The way he's walking around like the arcade and does not even play.
Yeah. I mean, there's been so many good quotes from this film, really. Yeah. And most of them are from Billy Mitchell, aren't they? But, I mean, it says, going through, I don't know how kind of factually correct this is, but they just say on the 26th of the 7th, the 26th of July 2007, on the 25th anniversary of Mitchell's first world record-setting performance, he retook the Donkey Kong world record of a score of 1,050,200, and then that was surpassed. Because it's interesting. That's why I don't know how factually correct this is, because it's different. It's different on Wiebe's page.
Yeah, I've got here world record stats since the film was released on July 13th. Instead of you got it here. Mitchell scored 1,050,200, inspired to attempt the record because of the new movie The King of Kong was crowned.
Who got 1,050,200?
According to Wiki, it's Billy Mitchell.
Yeah, he retook the Donkey Kong record. Then it says that was surpassed on February 26, 2010 by Hank Chen, who was temporarily record holder, Donkey Kong. And it says Mitchell reclaimed it back again.
In 2010.
Yeah, in 2010. And then Steve Wiebe once again took it.
In September 2010.
Yeah, then Chen retook that back again. Then it's improved 4 times over the next 2 years, setting the final record at 1,138,000. And then some guy called Robbie Lakeman broke
them all,
Chen's record. Yeah, of 1,141,000. 800. I mean, they are incredible scores, aren't they?
They are. Considering Brian Kerr couldn't get above get even half that. Did you hear that, Brian?
Brian, you protege wannabe.
Absolutely. Now, yeah. I mean, there's a few things in this film that are questioned. For example, on August the 17th, 2000, a guy called Tim Shisby, I probably got the last name, he reached a high score of 879,200 points. Now, this accomplishment, it was recorded on videotape, and it would have broken Billy Mitchell's initial record. However, in response, the film's producers claimed that Tim Shisby's consistently disputed record was impossible to verify and did not merit inclusion in the film.
Oh, really?
Apparently, yeah. Now, Steve Wiebe actually held the score record for almost 3 years, and when his videotape score of 1,006,600 points was rejected, the record actually reverted to Wiebe's own previous record in 2003. It did not revert to Billy Mitchell's 1982 score as implied by the film. However, there is evidence that Wiebe's 2003 score was reclassified to a different category months after its submission, leaving the earlier record in place. And then, the final thing, Mitchell's videotape record sent to the Funspot event was actually discarded after the event, and Walter Day apologised for the mistake of approving this videotape without the benefit of a complete verification process. The score reverted back to Wiebe's score achieved at Funspot.
See, that's great in hindsight, but at the time, that destroyed Wiebe.
Yeah.
Because of Twin Galaxies, I think everyone was caught up in the moment back then, weren't they?
They were. All of Billy Mitchell's followers. It was like all his followers versus Steve Wiebe. I mean, I thought, and to be honest, big credit here to the kids, for example, you know, and especially his wife.
Yeah.
I mean, she obviously knew. She kind of well, he's going to do it, so I might as well support him.
Yeah.
Because of the way just the way my husband is.
Yeah.
And she did, didn't she? And I actually had a tear to my eye the first time I watched it when she started to cry, saying everything. He's done. This will be the first thing, and they're trying to do it, but it means so much to him.
Yeah.
And then she started to get tearful on how unfair the whole situation was.
Yeah.
Now I know it's only, as far as some people will say, it's only Donkey Kong, but no. I know I'm going to exaggerate, but let's be honest. No human being should be treated like that. I mean, the way he was.
No.
When he's trying to get a score.
Yeah, and it was only Donkey Kong, but it was this man's life. It was his obsession, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it definitely his life for a few years.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind the 9-month break.
And he's a good guy as well. That's the thing. He is a decent guy. And you kind of really felt the heartache with him, didn't you?
You did. I felt the heartache with him.
Yeah, and because it was so kind of overtly biased, it did wind you up. It wound me up.
I was getting so angry at Billy Mitchell and his friend.
Yeah.
And when I watch it again, there's going to be a kill screen. There's going to be a kill screen, yeah? It just annoys me so much. I don't know why. Well, I do know why. But it shouldn't annoy me as much as it does, to be honest. But
I can understand... I can understand to a certain extent Steve Wiebe's frustrations when playing the game, but... He was really calm, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Even when he lost and he was only getting scores, which is low for him of 400,000 or 300,000.
Absolutely.
That when I play Call of Duty, I rage quit.
Oh no, I never see. When I'm playing Destiny, I never quit. I got to do it for the team. I got to finish.
No, I'll play Team Deathmatch and I'll spawn. I'll get kill spawns, but I'll spawn in front of someone. And I think, what enjoyment am I getting out of playing this at the moment? I'm getting nothing. So I'll just rage quit. I think, sod it.
You rage quit.
Yeah. I just can't stand it.
I have had people when I'm playing my Pokemon game rage quit.
Yeah.
You're about to win and they rage quit.
Yeah, I mean, I'll do that in Team Deathmatch. If it's a one-on-one, I wouldn't do that. But in Team Deathmatch, it doesn't matter. I mean, on Battlefield Hardline, you've got 60 against 60. So me dropping out, killing no one makes no difference. It just means...
And you're quickly replaced by someone else that comes in half.
Yeah, the game, it just means someone else won't be able to shoot me 300 times. So... Yeah, but I mean, I just thought this whole documentary was really, really interesting. And
it was. No, absolutely it was.
And I don't know if it's because I am a gamer and I'm a generation of going playing those coin-op machines and really enjoying them. And I think it might be Walter Day says it that these kind of games are the best games in the world because they are so simple. And the objectives are so simple as well.
Yeah.
Such as like Space Invaders and Defender and Pac-Man and things like that. they are such simple games, but they are so addictive, and it is an obsession.
It is, but and they're all about scores. And even in today's games, you look at, for example, you get the most kills or your kill death ratio, which is still a fairly simple way of scoring, isn't it? For example, like in things like Project Cars and the racing games, either to win you get the most wins, or the other thing is a lot of people you get credit of having the quickest time on a certain track as well.
Yeah.
And you will have these league tables. So I mean, it does carry on. But yeah, you're right. These games are simple. There's not. Donkey Kong was funny enough. The history of Donkey Kong was initially, I think they had like Missile Command, or there was some weird space shooter that Nintendo made.
Yeah, I had Missile Command. Yeah,
or I don't think it was called Missile Command. It was something else, and it wasn't. It was made by obviously, I think Nintendo, and it wasn't doing very, very well. So
to these people, it appears that it's an obsession. You know what I mean? Whereas if I'm a different kind of gamer, being the casual gamer. When I buy these games, it's
for entertainment, not obsession.
It's for entertainment, and it's for kind of just a change of lifestyle. As in, I'll play it, and today I'm going to be a SWAT, and I can do it, and you get into the character role, and it's kind of more fun. It just draws you in, doesn't it? But with these people,
they want to be the best.
Yeah, it's just about a league table.
Yeah, but I think it is. I mean, when I've gone. I'm nowhere near the talent of any of these people. But when I've gone on, for example, on Project Cars on the PS4, at one point I'd got quite obsessed with it for like a whole evening, and it's nothing like the time these people are. But I ended up being like third best, I think, in GT3 category around the world at Donington. Like in the whole world on the Donington track.
You sent me on Facebook.
Yeah. Like a picture, which I was quite proud with. And I can kind of understand how it can be quite easily. People can be obsessed, and to the point where we've all played games where you're trying to get to the level, and you might trying to get high score. You think, just one more time, I nearly got it. Then that's the reason why, and it can be quite addictive.
It is an obsession and it is an addiction. But I think, like everything controlled and maintained, then there's nothing wrong with it. No,
that's the thing. I mean, slightly different, but things like, for example, World of Warcraft and stuff, and even Championship Manager, you've seen has been the start of divorces, hasn't it? And people becoming a bit too obsessed with obviously computer games, and it is. I don't want to say a drug, but there is obviously an addiction there, like gambling and like other things. I mean, because I think TV can become an addiction. You're watching you getting obsessed with 5 or 6 shows, and that's your whole evening for the night, for example. So but there is obviously that addiction there. So
all in all, it was a brilliant documentary.
It was. I was going to say, what happened with Donkey Kong? I mean, Nintendo had this. I don't think it was Missile Command. It was this not very good game, particularly game. It didn't sell very well. And Shigeru Miyamoto, I've probably got that name completely wrong. The guy that invented Mario, basically, he went back and said, "Let me have a look at it," and that's how Donkey Kong came about, because of one of their unsuccessful games. He just modified the board. That's how Donkey Kong came, and obviously we had Jumpman, the guy that jumps. So it was later, obviously, to become Mario.
Yeah.
And obviously we have Donkey Kong, where we got now, and Mario. Obviously still around today.
Yeah, my house is full of little fluffy Mario characters. So.
Yes, absolutely.
All of the Mario characters.
Yes, brilliant. I mean, they've got coming out on the Wii U. They've actually got a Mario Maker where you make your own Mario levels.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Which I'm going to get for the little one, which is quite interesting.
Is it really for the little one?
No. No, it's not. But obviously, we've got Battlefield coming out in 90-something days, I think you mentioned. There's a countdown.
Yeah, pre-ordered already. Cannot wait to get that.
And I'm sure we'll maybe one week talk about that, and that'll be it we'll talk about, I imagine.
Yeah, I'll be more than happy to do a podcast, a review on
the Game Reel cast, won't
on Battlefield. Yeah, that'll be absolutely fantastic.
But there you go. So that's a documentary. Best bit, worst bit. Points.
I think it's very hard on a film to do the best bit, worst bit. I just really enjoyed the experience. I found the whole thing very addictive to watch and compelling. It was just really interesting.
Did you think it would be that addictive to watch when you started to watch it? What was your thought when you said? Because you came to me, you suggested the King of Kong after I said let's watch it because Graham can't make it, so we're not doing the Transporter 2. What did you think though when you started to press play? What was going through your head?
Luckily enough, I found the whole movie on YouTube, which was fantastic.
Unfortunately for some, it is on YouTube.
Yeah. But I just didn't know what to expect. I didn't know whether it was about just two different guys who kept going to these different contests,
Yeah.
like when we were at Comic-Con, when they had the Mortal Kombat.
Yes.
And whether it was like that, I didn't realise that like the story behind it with regards to Twin Galaxies.
Yeah.
And the fact that they'd be adults as well. I didn't expect them to be kind of adults with families and
good use of
married
music
and
as
things
well.
like that.
Best
Yeah, brilliant.
best around. I mean, that's all.
Yeah. When I played that, and my little one, he come up, he started singing it. It's just fantastic. But I thought it was a brilliant documentary. I thought it was just so good. I'd recommend it to everyone to watch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whether you're into gaming or not, just to see how corrupt these people are, how stupid these people look and make themselves look, and the fact that in the end, like the good guy wins.
Yes, but you did mention that right at the end of the film. The best bit about the film is, I love that. No, where is it? Wiebe achieved the world record attempt, doesn't he? And basically it ends the film when it happened. Now, look at that! I got it. So many months later.
Yeah.
What a lovely way to end the film.
Yeah, and being a complete geek in that, I even tweeted Steve Wiebe and said I just watched it.
Oh, look at that!
The good guy won in the end. So
the good guy won in the end.
Yeah, which was brilliant. But no, it was great. I mean, I'd give it kind of 4 out of 5.
Brilliant.
4.5 out of 5.
Yeah, I'm getting it. Yeah. There really wasn't a worse bit. I mean, it's really hard, as I was saying, as I think we discussed before the podcast, to decide on a point of a documentary. Is it how entertaining is it? Is it how well they got their facts right? Now, I know they left a few things out, yeah, but I think, as we said, if they actually put those things in as a movie, it wouldn't have been as enjoyable to watch because you had a very simple but very watchable and addicting storyline there between the good guy and the bad guy.
Yeah.
Essentially, that's what it was.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it. I think you're right. I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5, and it's really hard. There was no slow bits because it introduced you into the world very nicely, introduced you to the characters, and kind of like went on from there.
Yeah, and I think it was nice as well that it's a world I knew nothing about.
No, nor did I. I had no idea when I've heard about Street Fighter 2 tournaments or things like that, but no idea about there was this whole 80s coin-up world.
Yeah. Yeah, and I kind of, it's made me go to look at different computer games to see what kind of records people are setting and see what scores they're getting, especially ones that I've played. I mean, I'm such a casual gamer. I mean, I love playing online. I mean, tonight we'll play Project Cars online.
Yes, absolutely.
With Alex as well. So that's kind of as far as it goes. But to see these people play for 2.5 hours as an obsession, and it is their kind of profession. I mean, obviously, apart from his kind of sources and everything like that, Billy Mitchell did really, really well off the back of being the world record holder for 20 odd years, didn't he?
Yeah.
So it's just, I found that fascinating and a real insight into the world of gaming, which I really didn't know existed.
No, nothing like this. So.
Yeah, I mean, the first documentary, I thought it was a great choice. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, quite an easy documentary. But as I said, I think anyone can watch it, even if like your other half doesn't like computer games. There is a story there.
Yeah.
And it is about like people that you can, like Steve Wiebe, you can relate to.
Yes.
And his family, you can. Billy Mitchell, not so much, maybe, but there's people you can relate to in there.
Yeah, I thought it was great,
which is brilliant.
So next up for us, it's either going to be the last of the Star Wars films, or it could be Transporter 2, or it could be anything else. I really don't know. We just get these moments and tangent off.
It's going to be one of those. It's going to be one of the goodness knows what. But yeah, realistically, probably either Transporter 2 or the Revenge of the Sith.
And then after that, we'll be having a break for a week.
Yes.
Because
I'm on holiday.
You're on vacation. And then we'll be back with something else, which is probably just as strange. There's a few weird films that I'd like to do. So,
absolutely, yeah. And we also mentioned maybe doing a bit of James Bond near the time as well.
Yes.
And then by the time that's all done, it'll be December. It'll be back to what Christmas films we're doing.
Well, yeah.
And as well, I think we'll be reviewing Star Wars when it comes out.
Definitely.
Possibly Star Wars the Christmas edition, because even if it lasts half an hour, that's
awful. Yeah, that's awful. But no, it's been great. So I hope you enjoyed the podcast, and you've noticed for the second podcast running, the language has been a kind of a...
I think there's a couple of Fs, but that's it.
There's a couple of Fs, but yeah, it's not been as bad. There's not been any kind of rage.
I haven't need to... No.
Yeah. It's been great.
Absolutely.
I hope you enjoyed listening. Visit the website. Thanks for following us. It's amazing how many followers we're getting and how many people are downloading this podcast. So if you like what we're doing, let us know. And if there's any films you want us to review, whatever they are, whatever kind of genre they are, we'll try and find them and we'll do them. And it's been great. So it's goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me.
played for fun. Believe me, some of it's a lot of fun. Video games are meant to be played at home, relaxing, on a couch, amongst friends, and they are, and that's fun. But competitive gaming, when you want to attach your name to a world record, when you want your name written into history, you have to pay the price. Since I so-called debuted on the scene at Life magazine in 1982, there hasn't been anybody who's played even close.
When Billy Mitchell walks into an arcade, you know, everything stops. There's electricity around Billy Mitchell. Everybody wants to crowd around him. Everybody wants to see him.
You know, everything about him is perfect. You know, Billy is just that person, you know, he wants to represent.
If you could hack into the machine and program it to play itself, you couldn't even program it that well.
There's a glamour to Billy. There's a specialness to Billy. He was the first. He was the first great player.
The fact of the matter is, Bill is the best classic arcade gamer of our era.
I had somebody draw an analogy for me once that I always remembered. The top French pilot in World War I shot down 24 enemy planes. The top American pilot, you don't know his name, do you? Nobody does, but it's Eddie Rickenbacker. Shot down 26 enemy planes. The German ace, the Red Baron, everyone knows who the Red Baron is. That's because he shot down 87 enemy planes. I mean, he was the best. There's a level of difference between people. And it translates into some games. On my phone, it says never surrender. The worst thing that could happen would be to give somebody the credibility of a score that doesn't deserve it. But even far worse than that would be to deny somebody the credibility when they deserved it. If I'm not there, I don't know. No matter what I say, it draws controversy. It's sort of like the abortion issue. If you're for it, you're a son of a gun. If you're against it, you're a son of a gun. I'm not God. I don't have all the answers. So I have to be careful how I share my opinions.
All right, I brought you to Cubert. You dedicated time to it. You said you'd give up some of your other vices in order to practice. We're not going to lose. We're not going to be disappointed. We're going there to win. But I have one project, one thing far more important. What I need you to deliver is this.
What is this?
This is a score that they've wanted to see for a long time, and I've held it for all too long. You give it to Robert or you give it to Walter. You can lose your luggage. Don't lose the tape. Okay? I'm doing it just for the fun of it. When I do an actual score, I'll do it in person.
He's a very devious person. He works things out to his end very well.
Brian Koo is there. He knows everything to do with the tape. He knows to guard the tape with his life. I explained to him he could lose his life, but don't lose the tape.
Oh, and look at that. And with the bonus, we have the first million-point game of Donkey Kong. And the score reads 0, 6 zeros all the way across.
Not even Helen of Troy had that much attention.
Kind of ironic that he was a guy that pushed for live scores all the time. And now here I am at Funspot, busting my ass to get a live score, and he just submits tape scores now and then gets the record.
World Record Headquarters can I help you?
Work is for people who can't play video games. Billy Mitchell.
That's right.
Excuse me, guy. I got a celebrity in the car here. Can I cut in front of you? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize.
Yeah, but is there any percent he'll come in?
I don't think so.
He's too busy.
Well, he's
not prepped.
Not prepped.
But he knew it was coming. He could have prepped.
Well, maybe they'd like it if I lose. I gotta try losing sometime.
Does this have my name on the back or something?
What does it say?
It says, you have a yearning for perfection.
He's got a plan, so when he comes out, because Billy is Billy, you know, and he's going to come out with a bang.
Well, Billy Mitchell always has a plan. It's annoying when somebody's ahead of you. You know, when you're not the lead dog, the view doesn't change. And I always wanted the view, so. Video games are meant to be played in a competitive environment, under pressure, organized, where you have to perform, literally on demand.
Have you ever seen your husband compete head-to-head in video games?
Never. Never.
And when you do that, you have far more credibility than someone who says, oh, I did that last week. No matter how good you play tennis, no matter how good you play golf, if you don't play when you have to play, if you don't play when the pressure's on, you're really not good enough.